Hello! This video is going to be how to compare and order fractions. Now some fractions are really easy to compare and order when the denominator is the same. For example, if I'm comparing the fractions 1/5, 3/5, and 2/5, it's very easy because they're all the same size pieces. So if I wanted to put them in order from least to greatest, I just have to look at my numerator, 1/5, 2/5, and 3/5. That's nice and easy. But a lot of times when we're in 5th grade, we are expected to compare and order fractions that have different denominators. So we're going to look at how we can do that. So for example, if we have 5/6 and 3/4. Well, we looked at equivalent fractions and how we're allowed to play with fractions and change their names as long as we do it to the bottom and do it to the top. Well, one way that we can compare and order these fractions very simply is by renaming them so that the denominator is the same. So we have a 6 and a 4. I have to think to myself, what can I change 6 and 4 to that would make it the same? So I'm going to count by 4s and check the 6. 4, can I change it to a 4? I can't. 8, 12. I recognize that I can change both 4 and 6 into 12. So how do I do that? When we think back to our equivalent fractions, we simply have to multiply. Multiply, do it to the bottom. That means you have to do it to the top. You cannot just do it to the bottom. If you do it to the bottom, you got to do it to the top. I make my students do that little dance, and hopefully it'll help you remember. Do it to the bottom, do it to the top. Multiply 4 by 3, you get 12. Multiply 3 by 3, you get 9. What can we multiply the 6 by to change it into 12? 2. And if you do it to the bottom, you got to do it to the top, and this becomes 10/12. Now it's easy for us to see and to compare 10/12 and 9/12 because our pieces are the same size, and I can see that 5/6 is greater than 3/4 because 10/12 is greater than 9/12. Notice though that I wrote down my original fraction. I can't write 10/12 and 9/12 because I wasn't asked about 10/12 and 9/12. That's just a step that I can use in order to figure it out. So let's try a couple more examples of comparing before we move into ordering. 2/3 and 9/10. Well, I'm going to start with my larger number, and I'm going to count by that number until I get to one that I know is a 3. 10, can I change 3 into 10? 20, can I change 3 into 20? 30, can I change 3 into 30? And hopefully you recognize, yes, I can change both 10 and 3 into 30. If I do it to the bottom, I got to do it to the top. So I multiply my 10 by 3 and my 9 by 3 to get 27/30. What do I multiply the 3 by to get to 30? 10. And if I did it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So I get 20/30. Remember, I am not changing my fractions. I'm only changing my fraction's name. If you need help remembering why or understanding this, go ahead and review the equivalent fractions video that's posted. So now I'm comparing 20/30 and 27/30, keeping in mind that I have to use my original fractions. So I can easily see that 2/3 is less than 9/10 because 20/30 is less than 27/30. We're going to try one more of those. Let's look at 2/3 and 7/12. Now hopefully you're looking at 3 and 12 and thinking to yourself, Oh, I know what I can change those to. What can you change those to? Hopefully you recognize that 12 is one of your threes, so you don't have to change the 7/12. You only have to change the 2/3. What can we multiply the 3 by to get 12? 4. And if I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. So it becomes 8/12. And now I'm comparing same size pieces, and it's easy for me to see. Remember though, I have to write down my original fraction. This helps me understand my answer. I have to keep my answer in my original fraction, but 2/3 is greater than 7/12 because 2/3 is actually 8/12. That's how we compare fractions. We change the denominators into the same number, and the corresponding numerator we change also, and then we can compare them. We use that exact same strategy when we're ordering fractions. For example, if I want to order 4/5, 2 2/5, and 3/4, we're going to do the same thing. But the first thing that you're going to always check for is your whole numbers. Before you worry about comparing your fractions, compare your whole numbers. What is my whole number on 4/5? It's 0. When you don't have a number at all, it's 0. What's my whole number on 2 2/5? My whole number is 2. 2 2/5. What's my whole number on 3/4? It's 0. When there isn't one, it's 0. So if I'm asked to do this from greatest to least, I can quickly see that 2 2/5 is going to be my greatest number because I have a whole number on this one and not on these. So that means I only have to compare 4/5 and 3/4. Are you seeing what number I can change my 4 and my 5 to? Since I have to have a like denominator. Let's count by 5s until we get to one of our 4s. Can we change our 4 to 5? No. 10? Is that one of our 4s? 15? No. How about 20? Good. I hope you recognize that 20 does work. I can change both 5 and 4 to 20. If I do it to the bottom, I have to do it to the top. What do I multiply 5 by to get 20? 4. And I do it to the top, which becomes 16/20. What do I multiply my 4 by to get to 20? Times 5. If I do it to my bottom, I do it to my top. So I get 15/20. And now I'm going from greatest to least, and so it becomes easy for me to compare because since my denominator is the same, I just have to look at my numerator and I can see that 4/5, remember, you have to write your original fraction, not your equivalent fraction. 4/5 is greater than 3/4. And that is in order from greatest to least. We're going to do one more together on the video. And we're going to stick with going from greatest to least. It should be pretty obvious which one is greatest. What is my whole number here? 0. What is my whole number on 5/6? 0. What is my whole number on 1 1/2? 1. It's the only one with a whole number, so I know that one must be the greatest. So I get to start there, which means I only have to compare these two. And I see 4 and 6. So I'm going to count by 6. I always go to my larger number first, and I count by that larger number until I hit a number that I recognize. 6, can I change 4 to 6? Nope. 12, can I change 4 to 12? And hopefully you can recognize that yes, 12 is one of my 4s as well as one of my 6s. So I multiply. What do I multiply 6 to get to 12? 2. and do it to the bottom and the top, I get 10/12. What do I multiply times my 4? 3. And I get 9/12. And now it's very easy for me to compare that 9/12 is less than 10/12, but I have to write my original fraction, which is 5/6 and 3/4. Therefore, I can see that 1 and 1/2 is greater than 5/6, which is greater than 3/4. So that is how we compare and order fractions. Remember, you can watch this video as many times as you need to in order to compare and order fractions.